Back in the day, it was just a very easy value proposition. If I sell you this piece of hardware, it's going to get you on the internet. That's easy. Today, it's, this is an agent you install on your Windows 11 machine that plugs into Active Directory that needs single
Mm,
sign-on and
mm,
multi-factor, and it's got AI and ML, and it does all these things. And that's great. But how do you expect a salesperson who just came on board because they were just over at the previous whiz bang company and now they're at the new whiz bang company to understand how to pitch it? How does the new sales engineer pitch it? And then, oh, by the way, let's not forget that marketing is pushing a different narrative than engineering because they're always at odds. And so the marketing people say it does X, Y, and Z, and the engineering people say no, it does, A, B, and C. And so there's just this ecosystem of no one really knows how the product is running, where it runs well, what the problems are going to be, what the bugs are going to be. And so oftentimes I find that we become the guinea pigs for the companies to kind of iron out the kinks. They've got an MVP, a minimal viable product that gets you to 90 or maybe 85%. And then they kind of unleash it on you and say it does all this stuff. And then you come back and say, well, it does 85% of what you told me it does, but here's the 15% it doesn't do. And so I think that's where we're sitting right now. It's just a complexity thing. And I think that's the biggest problem today.
complexity, absolutely. Written it down here. So you just described to me something that triggered a case study in my mind. Look at what you just said. There's cloud, there's the AI components that's going to trigger all our policies, we're going to do our due diligence. Now there's NFA and the integration with SSO and blah, 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 blah. There's an awful lot to integrate these really smart solutions now. Are we, though, at fault for not defining our criteria, our acceptance criteria, and defining we want X? Or do you think it's a bit like EDR? Everyone has their favorite EDR, and let's be honest, who really gets in there once they've bought their EDR and really works it? Or does it work inherently out the box, and therefore we allow that complexity to mushroom on us and have some degree of false sense of security?
Yeah, I think it's again, it's no blame. I think the blame gets spread everywhere. I say it's on the practitioner side for not knowing what they want and need. It's on the company side for not hiring enough individuals to manage security and run a security program, efficiently and effectively. I think it's on the salespeople not really knowing what they're selling completely, because at the end of the day, most of them just throw their hands up and say, I'm just a sales guy. I'm not a nerd. I don't know this stuff. I just know how to make the deal happen. And then you've got these solutions architects that are burdened with trying to dig into these products that are so multifaceted and do so many different things. How on earth can you know everything about a specific flavor of EDR? Go pick one. I mean, that's just one you could go pick on. Go pick a cloud solution and go get someone to tell you where it plugs in, how it works, what it protects, what it doesn't protect, where it does work, where it doesn't work. Most of the time you're going to get, well, I need to go get my subject matter expert. So, my GCP expert, my AWS expert, because even the engineer doesn't know.
Wow, such a complexity. But I'm now also going to look at another element of this. So that's in our specification and what we are designing, the thing we go shopping for. But I suppose there's two things as well that's out there. There are salespeople hitting us all the time. So that's their sort of, inbound to us, outbound to them. And also our acceptance of whether we go searching. I've got a rule. If we need something, we do not accept inbound at all. End of subject. Why? Not because of the, playing that market game and being, open to things, but it's more about trying to focus on what do we need to solve, define it, list our requirements, list our specifications, and then go and do our due diligence and hunt and search for that, and then welcome in those people. We need them. We need these solutions. But to my point though, constraints, Chris, I love that kind of, we've talked about it, constraint thinking, but do you think there is a misalignment in the sales process? Because let's be honest, most salespeople out there, their alignment is to their quarter and their quota, not what Chris needs, what Dan needs, what, blah, 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 CISO needs. There's always that, you're being worked in the background about, assessed and qualified and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. It's a process which works well, but also there's such pressure on those quarters now, isn't there? More.
Yeah, I think there are a handful of if you're in the sales arena, there are a handful of companies that are very aggressive about quotas, to the point where they've gone to monthly quotas, to where every week they're squaring away where you are on a 52 metric, 52 week metric. And I think it just encourages bad behavior. And we talked about it last time we chatted, is if you're a person put in a position to go sell something and your boss is on your back because his boss or her boss is on their back about, here's how much quota we said we were going to sell, and here's the revenue for the quarter, and by gosh, you guys better go get it hook or crook. What's the salesperson's incentive to be, I guess, longitudinally based as opposed to kind of coin operated? So, pulling on a thread a bit, what encourages them to make a long-term relationship with a client over a quick one and done, and my order's done? And I think that's part of it. I think that's a huge part of it these days.